Friday night was Halloween. The scariest thing I saw this weekend was the line movement on Isaac Dulgarian right before he walked to the cage. If you're not familiar, Isaac Dulgarian was more than a 2-1 favorite. And 30 minutes before that fight started, a ton of money came in on his opponent and he became an underdog. He then went out there as the more than 2-1 favorite and was finished in the first round, only to find out that thousands or hundreds or millions of bets were placed on his opponent to win in the first round. This was all wildly suspicious, which now gets everybody talking about the fact, was this fight fixed? My name is Angelo. This is Josh Thompson. And we have just seen the most obvious fight fix we have ever seen in our fight watching career. Josh, if I eliminate the betting component and the suspicion and all of that, and you just watch that fight on mute, you had no idea what the betting lines were, did it look weird? Or did that just look like a normal fight where a guy got finished in the first round?
Well, I got to be 100% honest with you. I have not seen Dulgarian fight enough except for last night. And that was it. So, like, the fact is when I saw him get taken down, get dominated, get choked out, all within the first round, I'm thinking to myself, the kid's just not that good.
Sure.
I mean, that was my honest assessment. I'm like, all right, it didn't look like anything was fishy from one side or the other. Just legitimately didn't look like he was that good. It looked like he didn't belong there. And I actually saw a report from one of the analysts basically saying that he's like, he doesn't deserve to be here. He didn't look like he deserved to be here. And it was Michael Chiesa said something along those lines. That being said, that's exactly what I saw. So I don't know about the betting information. That is more your world. And I'm going to piggyback off of you a little bit, but I need to know because did you see anything that would have made it look like that he was throwing the fight?
So a couple of things. One, what Chiesa basically was shitting on Dulgarian, saying he wasn't even pulling the hand down to defend the rear naked choke, which could be perceived as this guy sucks, he can't even defend a choke, or it could be perceived as that's kind of a basic, why is he not doing the very basic thing to get out of this choke? So to answer your direct question, it did not seem suspicious. If there was no line movement, if there was not people going nuts over what happened in the, on with the sports books and how that line collapsed for his opponent to win in first round, it never would have crossed my mind. I would have done what you did. Be like, dude, Isaac Dulgarian sucks. After his last fight, which he won in the second round, I went on my own little crash out because I bet on under 1.5 rounds. And I was like, this guy sucks. He was a minus 1,000 favorite. It took him that long. So what I saw was a collegiate wrestler, which is what he is. He was an All-American. I don't know if it was D1 or D2. I saw a collegiate wrestler take kind of a bad shot, not be able to get it because his opponent was jacked. Then they ended up on the ground and he got out scrambled and finished. But what we cannot ignore are all the other individual pieces. First of all, that line movement is very suspicious. Whether you are a gambler or not, it was very suspicious. Isaac Dulgarian, you have been able to bet on him for a couple of weeks now. And the line was pretty steady Eddie. And then 30 minutes before the fight, he goes from more than a 2-1 favorite to an underdog. That's not just a random, that's not people saw him at the weigh-ins. That's not, oh, his knee looks like he has some staph. Let's all bet. No, that is suspicious. Then the exact, the flip side of that is the amount of money that came in on his opponent to win specifically in the first round also collapsed the line. That is wildly suspicious. So two things with that. First, with that line movement comes some eyes. And as you may or may not know, these sports books aren't just like a random dude typing numbers into a computer when you hand them cash. They have AI built in to look for suspicious bets. They are monitored by the government. These onshore, right? The DraftKings, the FanDuels, the MGM, all of those sports books are monitored by the government to maintain their license. So what we got was, let me find it here, two different things. One, the Hard Rock said they got 5 massive bets from different people on Del Valle in round 1. So they got 5 tremendous bets at the last second for that guy to win by round 1, and they flagged it and they said this is suspicious. We also have word that the FBI saw the suspicious activity. They notified the UFC, and the UFC said just continue the fight. So that could be one of two things. Either the UFC doesn't care, they're complicit, or the UFC is like, hey, you continue the fight, and then if there's a case to be brought, bring the case. Like we are fight promoters, we put on fights. You need to go investigate what's going on here. And then the last thing I'll mention, and this never happens, sports books aren't exactly known for their generosity. They have multiple sports books. Caesars and William Hill are giving full refunds and credits for people who bet on Isaac Dulgarian. They are not, that is not something sports books do. They
Yeah.
don't say, yeah, this was weird. Here's your money back. They say, tough shit. We got burned on, X earlier. So you're going to get burned here. So if you, even if you're like me or you and you watch the fight, you're like, it didn't look suspicious. It just looked like a pretty inexperienced dude kind of got muscled and then finished. Even if you have that mindset, it's very hard to ignore the individual components, the suspicious bets and things like that.
I can't. Do you believe in coincidences?
Not
It's
not not
it's
line movement, not
not
betting
like this,
coincidences.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like it just doesn't happen, right? This is something that just does not happen. Like it just there's too many coincidences that make it all come together. And like you said, the sports books are giving refunds. If that's
Which
the
is
case,
not something, they're the worst people in the world. And if
which
they're
which
giving refunds, it's like,
which
oh,
means what? They have some sort of information that means that they're probably going to get their money. That or they're not going to have to pay out people that paid that were able to cash out. I also believe maybe the two and two together. Vegas won pretty damn well last night. Dodgers won, so they cashed out. They cashed out a lot. So a lot of people bet the dogs to win that. Didn't work. They cashed out. So ultimately, in this situation, I believe if they're working with the FBI, the casinos were working with the FBI. They got some sort of information that puts their mind at ease. This is why, hey, somebody was screwed. Somebody had insider information and they got screwed. So we're gonna give these people back their money. Yeah, because if I sat at a blackjack table, I was like, I thought I was gonna win the fight. Give me back my money. They're like, no, 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 no,
yeah,
no.
tough
This is
shit.
not how it works. Um, like I said, I didn't really notice anything in terms of watching the fight. And I agree with you that if you were sitting there watching a casual fan or whoever, even a lot of the media people, the only reason why some of them went off onto Twitter and started saying stuff was basically because other gambling sites and other Twitter sites had basically started talking about it and said, "Hey, there's some action that was going on. It's been flagged." They asked the UFC to stop the fight, and the UFC said, "Nope, we're going to go forward with it." And I agree with you on that. The UFC's job is to be a promoter. And if they see something suspicious while the fight happened, then you can go ahead and figure it out from there. It just adds more fuel to the fire in the investigation for whoever's doing it, the FBI or the casinos. Um, ultimately, ultimately, I think when I look at this fight, though, uh, Angelo, what do you like? What
You
with a
said
minute?
my
No,
name so weird. Angelo.
Angelo. With if you're somebody that bet on the first round finish, he sure tried. If I'm looking at the fight, he sure tried to give it to him several times by not fighting the hand, and he still couldn't finish the fucking fight.
It was definitely because it there was definitely the illusion that he was defending the choke. Like it to me, it didn't look like he did anything nuts. Obviously, Michael Chiesa pointing out that he's not pulling down the hand. And there were a few times where that while he was re-gripping and the choke was entirely gone, Isaac didn't immediately shoot an arm in there or turn his body. He kind of so what I'm not gonna do is accuse Isaac Dulgarian of fixing a fight because that is a wild accusation to throw out there because that's not like you two both agreed Tom Aspinall quit, right? We think
No, no, no,
RDR
no,
quit.
no. I
We
don't.
both agreed. You can't
No,
backtrack
we do not both agree. That is a
that.
casual take. That is you. Go right ahead. You run with that though. You ride with that, buddy.
So calling
This
Tom
guy did not.
Aspinall, saying Tom Aspinall was looking for an easy way out and has a little bit of quitting him is one thing. Saying RDR is a quitter is another thing. Saying somebody fixed a fight is very different. Like saying somebody's a quitter, yeah, it's insulting and it's rude and all those things, but it's not illegal. It's not illegal to be a quitter. Saying Isaac Dulgarian fixed his fight is wildly illegal. And I'm not going to accuse somebody of doing something that will get him in literal prison, that will get him in insane trouble. So there's two different things here. There could be three different things here. There might be four. The first thing is we had something similar with James Krause, what, a year ago now, a year and a half ago,
Yeah, you're right.
but that wasn't a fixed fight. The line movement was basically identical to what we saw here. All of this is very reminiscent of what happened, but that wasn't a fixed fight. What that was James Krause knowing that his own fighter had a knee injury, so he knew this guy is in no condition to be fighting right now. He's going to get smoked. And then he tipped off some people who went ahead and bet on his opponent to win the first round. So we could have something like that where Isaac Dulgarian had an injury that only his inner circle knew about. And obviously that doesn't last very long. So then everybody found out at the last second, which would not be fixing a fight. That is just, information getting leaked. Or he could have straight up fixed it, been given money. And that's how fixing fights works, right? He's a 2-1 favorite. You get a 2-1 dog on the other side. You put a bunch of money on that person at a high payout and you're good. Or he just kind of sucked. Like Isaac sucks is a plot line here. That is a very valid outcome. Isaac Dulgarian kind of sucks. I don't think that's the case because we've seen him be a beast and the line movement. You can't ignore the line. That wasn't out of nowhere. That didn't just happen. So I'm going to eliminate Isaac sucks. I'm going to lean in the camp of there was an injury that people found out about last minute. I don't think he fixed the fight. And the last thing I'll mention is he's been on the interview circuit, right? He's promoting a fight. He did an interview with MMA Junkie. And in that interview, he was very vocal about, I think the fighters should get proceeds from gambling. If
Mhm.
you bet on me, I should get part of that purse. I'm the one in there doing the work. And then I had people in my comment section after my recap video saying, I DM'd Isaac a few fights ago saying, hey, I bet on you. Good luck. And his response to me was, you better give me 10%. And
Mhm.
maybe that's just sarcasm, whatever. But betting and gambling and the money is very front of mind for him, which is just making it even more suspicious. But I will not accuse him of fixing a fight. I don't think he fixed a fight. I don't think he took a dive. I would not be shocked if there was an injury though. We've broken down fighter pay before. They don't make that much money.
Not these guys.
So if you're injured, it's not very easy to say, you know what, honey, and my small child, yeah, I'm just not gonna make the 20 grand we were planning on me making, and we'll just suffer because my neck hurts a little bit.
I mean, it could have been just a local conversation for from his corners, talking to their friends. It could be someone from his own
Yeah.
camp. It could be one of his friends. It could be someone that heard something online through a mutual friend. Who knows? Um, I am not going to go like the route you are of blaming him for fixing the fight. I'm not going to do that. Okay, I'm going to just basically stay
No,
that.
no, I said he
No,
didn't.
no,
I
I'm
don't
going to
think
state that he did not fix the fight like you thought he did, and I'm going to
oh,
say that he
yeah,
defended.
you worded that like I worded you said Tom Aspinall was quitting. I was
No,
like, wait a minute.
that's exactly what I did. You heard that right. Yeah, you just said that you thought he fixed the fight. Yes, so I
What
get it.
what happens on
I'm
that side of the
glad.
camera?
I'm,
I
I'm glad that
specifically said
I'm glad that he was able to wiggle out. But can you imagine if you were the guy that bet for him to finish and there's only a minute 20 left in the in the first round, and you bet probably over $100,000, and you potentially couldn't cash out? Like there was only a minute 20 left in the fight. You're
yeah.
panicking. And like, here's the thing: sometimes fighters get so excited they got to choke and they don't get it. They're like, "Oh man," they move on to something else. If you're the guy that bet into winning the first round and you came in last minute based off of a tip and there's only a minute 20 left, you're pissing your pants.
And it
You're
doesn't look
shitting
like it's gonna
yourself.
happen.
And you're like, man, these guys suck. They can't get the finish. He's trying to give him the submission and he still won't take it. But I mean, I can't, like, that type of money drives me crazy. By the way, I won 35,000 last night on the World Series. Very nice.
You
10
bet
grand
all on the
bet.
Dodgers, but you were
Yep.
fucking sweating when they were down
Oh,
3-1.
I was sweating last game. Not even this game. I was sweating last game. Anyway,
Oh, you did for them.
I
You didn't bet
yeah,
the game,
I
you bet
bet
the
it.
series.
Yeah, I bet it back in September. So,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. 10K won me 45,000,
Yeah.
35,000.
Yeah, that's crazy. So speaking of gambling as a whole, fighters are not allowed to gamble, right? After the James Krause situation where his fighter, Derek Minner, had the knee injury and
Mhm.
the FBI and everybody was like, this is suspicious. Basically, exactly what happened last night. After that, the UFC rolled out official policies where fighters, their coaches, and their like immediate relatives are not allowed to gamble on fights. But in typical contrarian fashion, the UFC has multiple sportsbook partners. They have Stake and they have DraftKings, and individual fighters are promoting my bookie. They're promoting stake. Individual fighters have different sportsbook brand deals. And we have people like Garrett Armfield, who's a lower tier fighter on the roster, who is actively tweeting tickets. Now, whether they're his betting slips or they're fake betting slips or they're slips that, maybe the sports book is giving him, right? Tweet this picture, I'll give you 100. I don't know, but it is all wildly against the UFC's policies here. And all this does is add just more complexity and make this foggier than it needs to be. As a person who bets on fist fights, who gambles for fun, like I would never, you put 10 grand, I would never.
You're a degenerate, though. You're like a straight up degenerate.
No, I'm cool, calm, collected ants. Just easy, straightforward bets. I think this happens, so I'm gonna do it. I don't chase, no chaos. Nothing. I'm logical Ange.
Right.
I only bet small amounts of money that I can lose for fun. It's for fun. I take it very serious. I do my analysis, I do my research, but if I win, great. If I don't, the lights will stay on. But when you have fighters who are tweeting this and being sponsored and being influenced by sports books onshore, which means they're regulated by the government, or offshore, which means they're not regulated by the government, it is suspicious. The NBA just had a giant sports gambling scandal, their second one. And I would argue fist fights are the easiest thing to rig.
That's not an argument. That's legit the easiest thing for sure. 100% fist
It's just
fight.
two people.
Yeah.
One person could do all of it.
Yep. Exactly. They're the easiest thing to fix, hands down. And
And
I don't know if there's a way to stop this though.
there's not. You just have to monitor every bet from everybody ever, and then just start arresting people. If they find out that there, two things need to happen here. There obviously needs to be a full blown investigation. Let's assume something bad happened. If they find out there was a literal fix, like somebody took a dive, federal prison, like big time arrested, and everybody who knew about it. If it wasn't a fix, but it was an injury leaked, there's nothing illegal about fighting injured and people finding out about it. That's not illegal. What they need to do though is enforce the UFC, because the government's not going to do anything. It's not illegal. They need to enforce their own. Your relatives, your teammates can't gamble. They need to enforce that, because they put that out there after the James Krause thing, just kind of hoping it would blow over. I haven't seen a single suspension. I haven't seen a single violation of that. Nothing. And these fighters are getting closer and closer and closer to straight up gambling on these fights or just pretending they are. And the UFC needs to enforce that, because once everybody, there's already a camp of people that feel it's fixed, right? Anytime a favorite loses, there's an entire camp of people that are like, these fights are fixed. Once those people become the majority, the sport lost all its integrity. You no longer watch it as a fan. You no longer watch it like, I can't wait to see who wins, because in your head, you're like, yeah, it's fixed anyway. Who gives a shit? And you end up with the WWE.
I mean, WWE is very entertaining.
But it's fake going into it. So
Yeah,
it stops being entertaining after 15.
Look, there's not much else I can say. It didn't look like to me that he fixed the fight. But if I am someone that's going to bet, like, why would you bet the first round finish? Just bet him to win. I get why you bet
chase.
First round finish.
Yeah, people chase giant payouts.
I understand that, but whatever the payout was, like minute 20 is not a lot of time. If his opponent would have if Del Valle would have let go of the submission and be like, fuck it, I'm just going to sit up here and ground and pound. If I don't get it, I don't get it. Like, if anything, I mean, that's a very dangerous, just pick him to win. I know people are chasing, I want the big money to do it. Those are the people that fucked it up for everyone.
100%. Because if those 5 big bets, the ones that were flagged by the casino, came in on the straight money line, it wouldn't have been that obvious.
No, I don't think it would have been that. It definitely would have been that obvious. Definitely would have been more obvious. Just like, all of a sudden, then you're probably thinking like, someone said they had an injury, but first round means that
very specifically,
it makes it sound like somebody in the camp has leaked it, or somebody in, maybe even him. I don't know, but it's very scary. That right there is what scares me. That's what makes me believe that he was part of this. And I'm not saying I'm not saying he fixed it, but I'm saying that it just seems very suspicious. Is him or somebody in his camp had told people that, hey, he's probably not going to get out of the first round. He's got a neck injury. He's got a whatever, an
Yeah.
ankle injury, knee injury, back injury, whatever it is. So
I'm a purist, so I am hoping that's what it is. There's almost a 0% chance that nothing happened, right? Like that's just too much line movement at the last second. It's far too suspicious for it to be nothing. I'm really hoping it's an injury, and I'm hoping like the reason James Krause got fired and investigated by the FBI is because he was running a gambling Discord where people were paying him as a coach, as an insider for his inside information. He was literally selling inside information. And I guess technically it's not illegal because I haven't seen him arrested yet, but the UFC put a ban on him and all of that. I hope this is the most innocent this could be is nothing. That's not the reality. What I hope this is, though, is he's injured. A few people were whispering about it. A couple degenerates found out about it and they bet on it. Not that they were purposely leaking the info. Not that honestly, we could start doing the opposite. We could start telling people, hey, he's injured, right? I'd bet the other side. Let the line go that way. Then bang, bet your boy. Because if it's that easy, if you just have to leak a little info about a twisted neck and all of a sudden the line goes crazy at the last minute, there's a lot to unpack here. I am hoping for the sake of the sport. I'm hoping for the sake of everybody involved. Isaac seems like a nice dude. He's got a young family. I hope he just sucks at fighting. Like that what an unfortunate weekend as a professional fighter that the best possible outcome for you is that you just suck at fighting. That's the best possible outcome for Isaac is that people just do their investigation like, yeah, he actually just sucks. Turns out this dude just sucks and he didn't fix it. He wasn't injured. Just kind of sucks.
if you're the UFC, you're hoping the same thing.
Yes.
This is a big problem if it's the other way around, and I think this is where everyone was afraid if gambling was went worldwide or whatever was able to be spread throughout the US. It's fun. Sure. It's great to have these moments, but it's also scary because you're playing with people's lives. People can get addicted to gambling. People can, idiots have been known to put their fucking houses up, that type of shit. Like it's scary knowing that, it could be fixed and you lost it. You lost everything because of that. And you shouldn't be fucking doing that. You shouldn't be. But there are people out there that do that. So it is a slippery slope. We're in that realm right now where you can change people's lives. And I don't know. It's hard for me because I enjoy it. I have fun doing it, occasionally here and there. But I felt like the Dodgers are a pretty clean bet, man. I mean, a pretty clean bet. The biggest pay, biggest roster, they spend the most money. It's LA. I'm like, it's just, I don't know.
I mean, they barely did it.
They barely did it. You're 100% correct. I get it. Had me shitting bricks, especially when they played, it was a game 2 in the 18th inning. I'm like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, they had me that way. They had me that way. I was just back and forth on that game. Sorry. I was just back and forth on that game based on the fact that the Chiefs were playing that night. So I wasn't paying attention as much. But bottom line is, I think that you still believe that Dulgarian fixed the fight. And I know that's probably not.
I need to reiterate this. I do not think he fixed the fight. I do not think he fixed the fight. I think it was a leaked injury.
You spent 25 minutes saying that he fixed the fight, that he couldn't defend the hand.
I hope you're being sarcastic and there's just not that much CTE in that head.
I'm over here sticking up for him saying, no, he's just a crappy fighter. I think
you're definitely being sarcastic.
Michael Chiesa agrees with me that he's just a crappy fighter.
People are using Michael Chiesa's words to be like, well, that's how you know it's fixed. Because Dulgarian trains at a good gym. Yeah. He's not a bum. Like he's at a good gym he's at the same gym with Yusuf Zalal and David Onama and Chris Gutierrez. What the hell? In Colorado.
Oh yeah, with
Cody Brundage is
with Whitman, Trevor Whitman.
No.
Oh, different.
Oh my God, how am I forgetting the name of this damn gym? Jacob's like friends with all these freaking people. Factory X. He's at a Factory X. And we've seen Isaac be nasty. That's what I'm saying. Like, we've seen him beat the piss out of people. So that's why it's like, ugh. So he's not, if it was that kid that beat Estrie Dumas, like a 6-0 undefeated young prospect.
Something Johnson, right?
Dante. If it was Dante Johnson, then it's like, all right, the dude's 6-0. We've never seen him fight an actual UFC fighter. Maybe he really doesn't know what he's doing. But we've seen Isaac beat the shit out of people.
Mhm.
in the octagon, and his only loss was a robbery. He beat C-Rod. So it's like that's why it's hard for people to say, this isn't just this guy sucks. That's not what
No.
this is. And then I feel bad for Yadier Del Valle because if there is something suspicious going on, and if there's not something suspicious going on, he is still getting zero credit for that win whatsoever. Zero credit. People are just like, it was fixed. It's like, all right, well, I still stuffed his takedown, took his back, and choked him out.
No. All right, let's not avoid the elephant in the room, okay? Please stand the fuck up. Are you wearing a Moneyberg shirt? Are you kidding me right now? This
Listen, we're
guy.
talking. We're talking about millionaires potentially fixing fights. I got to support. I got to support. It's very fitting to the topic.
Did you buy that?
I bought you one, dude. Here, look.
Shut your whore mouth. You did not.
I texted you and I said, "Here, you're a boy's medium, right? I bought you one.
Oh, wow.
I
All
did
right,
buy you one.
my
What
man. I
size shirt are
appreciate it.
you?
I'm
That's
a
an
large.
adult medium.
I'm a
No,
large.
you're not.
But
a
I'll
fucking
take it.
large.
I'll take the medium.
You're not a large.
Yeah, I am. I'm an extra large.
How are you a large and
No, I'm a
Jacob's a
large.
medium?
Jacob's probably smaller than me.
I think he might be like an inch taller, but he's not as like thick.
Yeah. Oh, so
But yeah, I did buy
you're
you
calling me
one.
fat now. You're calling me fat, not as thick.
This con artist is charging allegedly is charging $36 for a freaking
Allegedly.
t-shirt.
Allegedly. The fact that you bought 3 of them or whatever the fuck,
Two.
you're wild. You're fucking
Yeah,
wild.
I was because I was just sitting there watching. We did the bad takes on it, and then I watched more clips, and I was like, dude, does he sell that shirt? And then he's got a full store, a full Moneyberg store. So I'm like, I'm buying the
You should have got me a rash guard.
dude, the rash car is like $86. He
That's
thinks he's
insane.
Hayabusa. It's like, what are we what are we
What are
doing,
we
dude?
doing, man? And
Dude, imagine wanting to be so famous that you put an AI pic. Like, first of all, he made himself way better looking than he actually is.
way better.
And he put it in a coin and then slapped it on a shirt and then he pays people to wear it. That's insane. That level of like needing fame is crazy.
That's nuts. Man.
Crazy.
It's not. He gave himself the Fabio hair.
Yeah,
Seen his hair? Have you not seen his hair? It looks like a
yeah,
fucking rat snack.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like it's nasty. Like it's all curled up and
It looks like a rat
doesn't look
nest.
washed. Yeah.
Bro, use some fucking what is it called? Not detergent. What's the soft stuff that makes your
Conditioner.
hair conditioner? Use some conditioner, buddy.
Yeah.
It's
You need
all
to moisturize what you got going. It's a Brillo pad. It's a
Oh,
long Brillo
man.
pad.
All right, well, hey guys, let us know. Is Angelo correct that Dulgarian fixed the fight, or are you on my bandwagon that he did not, and that maybe there was an injury and somebody found out and they threw some money down on it? Drop us a comment down below, and can leave a comment on the Moneyberg shirt, please. By all means, make fun of
Dude,
it.
it's a sweet shirt. I wore it to volleyball yesterday, and I had a few people like, "Hey,
No,
anybody who's anywhere related to this, like watches or trains or anything, is like knows this freaking shirt." So I guess the level of fame is crazy. He literally bought fame. It's not good fame.
It's
Not all
not.
fame is equal. It's not good fame, but he bought it.
Any press
Good
is
for
good
him.
press, buddy. Any
Yeah.
good press. There might be people that literally signed on to his clinic
The
or whatever
program?
his program just to see if he can produce money for them just for like a month or two. Maybe just said, hey, I'll pay you $1,200. Let me just see people that have a little extra cash running around. I'd rather take my chances at the blackjack table, but
Yeah, that's less of a betting on Isaac Dulgarian to win was less of a gamble than will Moneyberg's course change my life.
wild.
Either way, guys, let us know if you think that was a fix or a leaked injury. I said multiple times I don't think it's a fix. If you heard otherwise, you and Josh both have CTE. Thanks for being here. Like, subscribe, do all the things, and let us know what you thought about that fight.